Hey guys, Flutterpage character profile has just been released, and this is my first time doing a video for an unreleased character from the Chinese version. And in this video, I will go through the kit. There is no specification in terms of like numbers that has been released. So this is just a preview of her kit, and we will just go through her skill 1, skill 2, insight and everything, and how I think about her. So first of all, she is the star of latest unit, a 6-star unit, and this is how she looked like, a little girl, very cute. Okay, so I do not want to talk about all the specifications, so you can just read about it. But basically, she is about flying, right? She wants to fly like a bird, so her kit will revolve around wind. So she has some buff called wind speed. Okay, yep, so insight, I can fly. After an ally, insight 1, after an ally takes action, Flutterpage gain wind speed, lasting for a certain number of rounds. Well, the first thing we do not know is that how many stack of wind speed that she will gain based on a character's action. It can be 1, it can be 2, but what we know here is that at the beginning of the round, based on the number of wind speed stacks, so it's a stack, and each of these stacks, they are counted separately. It's something like Mercuria's stacks or Windsong stacks, right? That every time it is triggered, it has a certain counter for that stacks. So Flutterpage gain one of the following Forcefield, Paper Parade, Bedsheet Wave, or Farewell to the Ground, and that remove the other Forcefield. So you only can have one of this active at a time. So at the beginning of the round, which means at the start of every round, she will get a new Forcefield. So this is kind of like RNG, I believe. So maybe there's like, 10% chance you get Farewell to the Ground, 30% chance is Bedsheet Wave, another 40 is like Paper Parade or something, maybe, right? So there is no specifics in terms of how frequent this Forcefield will be triggered. But anyway, her kit revolves around this Forcefield. Insight 2 is when entering battle, increase attack, and at Insight 3, increase max Eureka. So she has an Eureka system. And after attacking, she gains Eureka. Okay, every time she attacks, she gains Eureka. And upon entering battle, Flutterpage moxie increases. So I believe this should be similar to character like Villa, like Lopera, Semmelweis, right? So those, or Gertian, those start with a specific moxie depending on your team. So I believe she should have something similar, and possibly she will start with 3 moxie as well. And at the start of turn, she also gained a number of wind speed stacks. So Paper Parade, what it does is that it affects all allies, and the additional reality damage inflicted is treated as dealt by Flutterpage. Okay, so there is an additional damage that will be added to all allies. So when actively performing an attack, okay, so when a character uses an incantation, deal additional reality damage, dealing more reality damage to the main target. So this is an AoE thing. So I'm not too sure here if, let's say, what happened if we use a single target incantation. So I believe, of course, there will not be the additional damage that is dealt to the other enemy. So if it's a single attack, I believe that it should just be that main target. But if it's a mass attack, then the one that you are targeting will receive more relative damage, while the one at the side, or basically the other unit, the other enemy, will receive less. So I believe this is how it should function, but we do not know exactly yet. And during an extra action, consume Flutterpage Eureka and deal additional relative damage, dealing more relative damage to the main target. So if your character is using an incantation to attack, then Flutterpage will not consume any Eureka, and she will grant that attack additional relative damage. But if this is an extra action, so like Juniangzi is doing a follow-up attack, or Joe is doing all this counter, which is also considered as an extra attack. And Winsong during her ultimate. And Lucy, right? So all this, okay, the thing with Winsong, the thing with Lucy, yes, Winsong, Lucy, and Tunyang's channel, that after she channels, she actually does a Baiju Ledo, right? I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. So those are rank incantation. So if it's rank incantation, will it be considered as actively performing an attack? Or will it be considered as extra action? If we talk about like 37, then those will be extra action as well, because that triggers 37's Eureka. So in that case, I'm not specifically sure, but I would consider them as extra action, so those will still consume Flutterpage Eureka, or else it will be really broken, like if you have Winsong doing her ultimate. And yeah, she will be dealing so much damage, right? So imagine like you stack up 20 of Winsong's attack, then you just have Flutterpage there and release. So each of these attack will have additional reality damage. But now, if that is an extra action and it's going to consume Flutterpage Eureka, then there should be a certain number of limit that the additional reality damage will happen. Okay, so we do have to keep that in mind and see how it exactly works. But anyway, I think Flutterpage will be a good combo with Winsong, especially if you are using like the non-stacking build, where usually every time I get her ultimate up, I will get about 5 to 6 of her attacks. So if this 5 and 6 will get additional reality damage on top of Villa additional damage, then she will really be hitting pretty hard. Alright, so that's that. Then we have Bit Sheet Wave, has all effect of Paper Parade. So add additional effect during extra action based on the number of wind speed stacks Flutterpage has, increased damage and Genesis damage dealt. Okay, so based on the number of wind speed stack, then more damage. So again, we do not know how much wind speed stack that she can gain and how much is required. Like it can be like 1 stack means 1%, which may not be much. Or 1 stack is 5% and you just have like 4 stacks, then that would be amazing. So that still depends on the number. And the last Forcefield here is Farewell to the Ground, has all effect of Bait Sheet Wave, and add additional effect. During extra action, a critical hit is guaranteed. Oh wow, so I'm not sure. Okay, so this probably just push it up to 100%. I'm not sure, like in the case of Winsong, where she can convert crit to crit rate, does this consider like 100% crit? So any extra crit that Winsong have, all of it will be converted to crit damage. If it does, this is insane. Okay, if it does, this is insane. But again, Farewell to the Ground is probably RNG on which is triggered, because it's either or. So you can have one of it up, and it wasn't mentioned if there's any condition on how to trigger either one. So I believe it might be RNG. So you really got to time it. If you get this buff out, then you really got to unleash all your attacks. Okay, so here on top of crit hit is guaranteed, increased damage and Genesis damage dealt based on self crit rate and crit damage. Yeah, so the total crit rate and crit damage your character have, and that is also converted into increased attack and Genesis damage. Alright, so you will be hitting really hard. Okay, so this is her S1, Knock. Mass attack, deal relative damage to 2 enemies, and she will gain wind speed. Okay, again, how much wind speed and how much attack this does is not mentioned, but I'm not too concerned about the damage. I really do want to know how many stack of wind speed she will gain, because I think that matters more for her kit rather than damage. because her main damage won't be from Knock Knock. It will be from her ultimate, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, second here is Cotton Kite. So it's one target, deal relative damage, and gain continuous action 1. And this is next round increase AP. So technically this skill is free, but you just want to use one of it in one turn, I believe, because this is a buff, right? So if you use another one, you will override. So you probably won't get like 2 AP additional or 3 AP if you just keep using this one. So every round, if we use this, then next round we get additional AP. So in a way, this attack is free, right? We use up this AP this round, but next round we get another AP. So this attack, like in a way, it doesn't consume AP at all. It just shifts the AP to another round. And that is pretty good because it means that she can gain moxie everything for free, right? So that would be easy for her to maintain her rotation. Okay. Yep. So her ultimate, Dream That Never Grow Up, self-channel, recovers all Eureka. Okay. So apart from her attacking, okay, let's go back and check. She only gains Eureka when she's attacking based on her insight. Okay. After attacking, gain Eureka, right? In here, this insight 3. After attacking, gain Eureka upon entering battle. So when her party members attack, she doesn't gain Eureka. So the only way to gain Eureka is using her ultimate or she attacks herself. So recover all Eureka, convert own incantation into greeting from the white bird. So and releases it as much as possible. So this is exactly like Wind Songs. And then it enters the Dream That Never Grow Up. Can we stack it up just like Wind Song and then unleash it after using her ulti? Possible. Yeah, but during channeling she cannot gain moxie, which means when she's when she releases all her incantation, she doesn't gain moxie from that. And probably any form of moxie gain effect will not be given to her. Alright, so Dream That Never Grows Up. Okay, so at the moment that you're using the ultimate, you recover all Eureka. So now she's in channeling stage, and you will be using your DPS and releasing as much extra action as possible, and all of this extra action will consume her Eureka. So let's say by the end of the round you have consumed all of her Eureka, then it would be a pain for you to regain back her ultimate. But here it says that she entered the status Dreams That Never Grow Up. But with the status Dream That Never Grow Up, at the start of the round, which is the next round, recover all Eureka again. Okay, so we need to know how long Dream That Never Grow Up will last. So it seems that as long as she's in this status, she will continue to gain full stack of Eureka. So in that case, when she gets this, you don't even have to do anything. And every turn, you will get that additional relative damage from her given to your DPS that uses extra action. Okay? Yeah, so this sounds really good in a sense, which means she can be quite AP friendly while maintaining her entire kit. So transform all incantation into greeting from the white bird. So every round after she's in this status, any incantation that she get during the start of the round, everything will be converted to greeting from the white bird. And she will continue to release it. So every round she will be doing the additional 1 attack, 2 attack, 1 attack, 2 attack, depending on how many of this incantation you get at the start of the round. And at the end of the round, releases greeting from the white bird. Okay, I'm quite confused here. Is that at the start, she transforms all her incantation, and then she releases all of it. And at the end of the round, she releases greeting from the white bird again. So I'm assuming for some reason, you get more copy of this, and then she will still release it. Well, Upon finish channeling, increase moxie based on the current wind speed and Forcefield. During channeling, cannot gain moxie. So it's the same when you use her ulti. And greeting from the white bird is mass attack and deal relative damage to all enemies and deal additional relative damage to the main target. So this is kind of opposite from Windsong. So Windsong does it on one single enemy, and Flutterpage does it on all the enemies. So if you are going for a stacking build, then again, if you are waiting until round 30 and unleash all of it, then it doesn't really matter about her mechanic, because you are doing it just like Windsong, that you are in the end you're using it. But if you are doing the non-stacking build, which means you want to release it, her ulti once in a while, so do note that once you use her ultimate, she will be in that status for several rounds. Okay, so it will not be like Windsong, because in Windsong, the next round you would want to merge a card to quickly get her ultimate again and use it. So she's kind of like more of a passive Windsong, if I can put it that way, that after she releases, she will be in that status and continue to release any incantation that she get as greeting from the white bird. So she's definitely a support unit, and I think can be a good one, a good support for Windsong. Okay, yes, so here it say increase moxie based on the current wind speed. So we do not know how much moxie she will gain from it. Does she need 5 stack to convert into 1 moxie, 2 stack, 1 moxie, or 1 for 1? We do not know. And based on Forcefield, which means I believe is, if her Forcefield is not the same by the end of the turn, maybe she will get a different number of moxie. If it's like, it's farewell to the ground, maybe she get 3, big sheet wave you get 2, then paper parade you get 1. Yeah, it might be like that. Well, we do not know. Okay, so at this point we do not know. And this is about Udimo. Okay, so overall I think her kit, she is a follow-up attack support unit. Really interesting, very good synergy with anyone who has follow attack, and that is like Windsong, Lucy, even Jay and Babel. Jay and Babel is the new combo, right, where you have Jay attacking and Babel is mainly doing the defense. But here we have this increased damage and Genesis damage, right? Flutterpage increased damage and Genesis damage, which means it will give advantage to Babels as well, because Babels does do Genesis damage, and 37 on top of that. Alright, so imagine you have Babel, Joe, 37, and Flutterpage. I think they will be hitting, yep, you will be doing a lot of extra action. Or you are using like Windsong, Villa, Flutterpage, and maybe Kakania. Okay, so you imagine like, if you stack up both of it, which probably will be not a good idea if you are having 2 characters that you are stacking and everyone is compete to stack. And the thing is that she doesn't get that precast like Windsong, so it would be more difficult for you to stack her incantation up, right? Because she doesn't have that precast, so you can't do it like Windsong. Okay, you cannot do what Windsong is doing with her, but she's still a good support for her. And what else do we have? Chunyangzi is going to come back and it's going to hit hard, because Chunyangzi, like when she's using her S1, there's a follow-up attack and you will give her wind speed, and when you use Chunyangzi's channeling incantation, she will probably give her wind speed as well, but let me check. After an ally takes action, right, it doesn't have to be an attack, so it can be a heal, a buff, a debuff, an attack, and Flutterpage will get wind speed. So with that, Chunyangzi will be giving her wind speed, and again at the start of the next turn, takes action, right? Okay, the difference here is that after an ally takes action, when actively performing an attack and during an extra action. I believe for this, after an ally takes action, it should be any form of action, including extra action. So, yeah, you have Chunyangzi doing casting her channel incantation, giving her wind speed, and at the start of the round she does the Baiju ladder attack, the S1, and then with another follow-up. So all of that will give her wind speed, and with more wind speed means more moxie that she will get back at the end of the channel, and then that will grant her back her moxie, so she can then again cast her ultimate rather easily. So this is how her rotation should be. Okay, this is how her rotation should be. Alright, so yep, looks like this is a character that I must pull for. I do have a thing for support unit, especially those that, yeah, has very interesting kit like this. And we also need to know, the last thing is her Eureka. How much Eureka that she actually gets. Right? Is it going to be 5? Is it going to be 6? Obviously, the more the better. Yeah. So anyway, we have about 6 days to wait before they release the number, or maybe 1 day before her kit release. I'm not too sure how CN actually does it, because I usually check after the character is officially released, and not checking, preview like this. So anyway, I hope you like my analysis on the kit and the team composition that she can function with, and some possibilities on how her rotation would be like. So yeah, do comment if you are excited for Flutterpage. I'm pretty definitely. Alright, thank you so much and have a good day.